Live from the KFOX 14 studios in El Paso and Las Cruces, you're watching the Emmy Award-winning KFOX 14 News at 9.
And early morning SWAT situation in central El Paso has residents on high alert. More on that in just about 5 minutes. But first, a historic election and a historic win for the El Paso firefighters. Good evening. I'm Megan Lopez. Happy Mother's Day. First on Fox tonight, after the city and firefighters union Local 51 could not negotiate a contract, they turned to voters to settle the dispute. The key issues were wages and health insurance costs. When all the ballots were in and counted, the scales tipped in favor of the firefighters. KFOX 14 News at 9's Genevieve Curtis is live in West El Paso to tell us what the next step is in this negotiation process. Genevieve.
Megan, a record number of firefighters had support from a record number of voters at the polls during this election, saving firefighters from the pay cut they feared and giving them the raise they were looking for.
The tremendous weight lifted off our shoulders. This was huge.
The call went out, and this time it was the voters that responded in record numbers for their first responders.
Citizens have made that loud and clear tonight that they do support their public servants and their first responders.
All three firefighter propositions passed definitively. More than 30,000 people cast their vote on the issue, giving firefighters a 3% raise for the next 3 years. Voters also decided firefighters' health insurance premiums will increase by 22% a year for 3 years, and there will be a second chance offered if a member fails a drug test, though the union says they were never opposed to the zero tolerance policy. But for firefighters, the message from the voters is clear.
They want the city council, the mayor, city manager to take a more active role in running the city and taking care of the people who help keep the city safe.
The city sent this response to the election. They say, quote, during the election process, the city provided the facts to the public so voters would have a clear understanding of the cost to them as taxpayers. Now that the election is over, the city will respect the wishes of the voters and will, as always, support the El Paso Fire Department for the great service they provide to our community. And there's more work to be done. The union and the city will now have to work on the wording of the contract, and city council will have to ratify it.
Well, we need to get back to work with the city and then start making sure that the will of the voters is adhered to.
The voters fought for the men and women who fight for them.
They now see that the citizens of El Paso do care about their firefighters, do care about their paramedics, do care about the first responders. They want to stay here. They want to work for the citizens. They want to show them how much we do appreciate all the support.
And the city has said that if the firefighter referendum were to pass, the cost would be about $58 for the average homeowner. That's a total over the next 3 years. No word yet on when city council could be expected to ratify the new contract. Reporting live in West El Paso, Genevieve Curtis, KFOX 14 News at 9.
Meanwhile, the Ysleta Independent School District will have to find a new way to pay for repairing aging school buildings. This after a vote to reject over a $500 million worth of bond proposals. Now, KFOX 14 News at 9's Crystal Price is live with what this means for the district and why some residents voted against that bond.
Well, if the bond had passed, homeowners would have faced a 10% increase on their property taxes. Now, today I spoke to quite a few folks on the street who said they voted against the bond because they felt they couldn't trust the district with the $500 million. YISD officials tell me now they're going to have to reconvene and figure out a way to earn the community's trust.
The roof falls in when it rains, and the floor is kind of warped where we walk in main hall.
Sophomore Nathan Hyder has been walking the halls at Eastwood High for 2 years now.
The school's falling apart, and a lot of schools are not getting what they need.
Eastwood High was supposed to be rebuilt with the help of a $451 million bond. The funds were also going to go toward renovating and consolidating several other aging schools in the district. But after voters rejected that bond yesterday, that plan is now at a standstill.
I guess since it didn't pass, we don't know how we're going to get one.
The reality is that the problem is going to take care of itself.
Superintendent Xavier De La Torre says the district has 17,000 extra seats 14 more schools than necessary, and numerous aging buildings they can't afford to repair.
You simply cannot expect us to adequately educate your children in facilities that are almost 100 years old.
De La Torre says now the district must reconvene and make necessary adjustments to the facility's plan.
I feel that we didn't do enough to earn the trust of the public.
Shane Haggerty, YISD Board of Trustee for District 3, says he thinks voters were hesitant to vote in favor of this bond after some projects from the 2004 bond were never completed because the district either got behind or they ended up costing too much.
I think the way that it was handled could have certainly been a whole lot better, and there was just a bad taste left in their mouth.
Haggerty says next time the district should do more to earn the public's trust.
And again, we need to go over every dollar that we spend, and we need to make sure the public is aware exactly how we spend their tax dollars. So next time, if and when, we have their trust. That's what we need.
And something important to note is that even before the bond election, the district already paid VLK Architects $60,000 to begin designing the facilities in the master plan. The district says the company will be paid for their work at least through June. De La Torre says they're hoping to present another bond to voters as early as this November. Reporting live in the studio, Crystal Price, KFOX 14 News at 9.
Al Velarde joins the El Paso ISD Board of Trustees for District 2. Velarde won with 68% of the vote, beating Mayela Sanchez Serra and Luis de la Cruz for the seat. Velarde is the current executive director of the Child Crisis Center of El Paso and also a retired police sergeant. When asked about the consolidation plan, Velarde says that he wants to continue to make sure the plan is the best plan moving forward.
But we want to make sure that this plan is done right. It's done for the best interest of the kids within the school district. And of course, with representatives now within their districts, we want to make sure that the kids in our areas also get the best benefit from this plan.
Velarde says that the first item on the agenda is to come to an agreement about next year's budget. After a tight race, Representative Courtney Nyland is holding on to her seat. She's set to represent downtown and the West El Paso areas. Representative Nyland says that she will continue to actively engage with residents and to make sure to fill their needs.
We keep going in this pattern, we're going to be able to continue to serve this great community and keep El Paso moving forward.
Representative Nyland beat Josh Dagda with more than 50% of the vote. SWAT officers are called to a central El Paso home after a man barricades himself inside with a gun. El Paso police say it happened this morning around 6 a.m. on Laredo. Now, officers called in help from the SWAT and the crisis management team. CMT was able to talk to the distraught man. They were able to get him out of the house after 4 hours. He was taken to a local hospital for evaluation just after 10 a.m. His identity was not released. And El Paso police need your help finding two men who held up a downtown loan company with a knife. Officers say the incident happened on March 27th around 11 a.m. at the Union Finance on South Stanton. One of the men walked into the business and up to the counter and demanded money with a knife in his hand. The other stood at the door. That's when an employee from the back ran out to see what was going on. He scared both suspects, who went running out of the door and down the street. If you have any information on the identity of either one of these suspects, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers of El Paso at 566-TIPS. He's an El Paso native who held up a convenience store at knife point. Now he's wanted for violating probation. This is tonight's fugitive finder. 25-year-old John Ahumada also goes by Jesse. He has a long rap sheet including marijuana possession, failure to identify, theft, and aggravated robbery.
Mr. Ahumada went into the convenience store armed with a knife and demanded that the clerk give him the money in the register. When the clerk advised that he was not going to comply with Mr. Ahumada's request, Mr. Ahumada walked out of the store and fled in his vehicle. Luckily, Mr. Ahumada was apprehended shortly after by the El Paso Police Department. We do consider him extremely dangerous given the fact that he did attempt to rob a convenience store with a knife.
Ahumada is described as 5'7" and 155 pounds. U.S. Marshals believe that he is still in the El Paso area. For a closer look at Ahumada, go to kfoxtv.com and click on Fugitive Finder under the News tab. Remember, if you see him or you know where to find him, call U.S. Marshals at 915-534-6779. You can also text or email in tips. Just go to our website, kfoxtv.com. Las Cruces law enforcement officers come together to honor the fallen. The Doña Ana Sheriff's Department, New Mexico State Police, and Las Cruces Police Department are just some of the agencies that will gather tomorrow. The occasion? To honor officers who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. The departments will hold a candlelight vigil tomorrow at 8 p.m. on the front lawn of the Doña Ana County Sheriff's Department on North Motel Boulevard. The city of El Paso is making its streets just a little smoother for drivers. El Paso's Department of Transportation will be working on several resurfacing projects this week. You can take a look at the streets that will be affected. They're listed right there on your screen. Now, the work includes replacement of damaged curbs and gutters, as well as applying new asphalt riding surfaces to make that drive just a little smoother. Proper traffic control measures will be in place to direct drivers through those areas. It's Sunday, and once again, that means we have a list of road closures to look out for this week. The east and westbound lanes on El Paso Drive between Colfax and Alameda will be completely closed. Also, Alameda Avenue between Glenwood and Buena Vista eastbound will be closed. Those closures start Monday and will continue through Thursday, each day from 9 p.m. to 6 the following morning. Also, Sunbowl Drive starting at the Yandell intersection and continuing to the westbound Schuster exit ramp will remain closed until further notice. Beautiful weather for Mother's Day. Joshua Zuber is here now to tell us just how warm it got today and what's ahead for this work week.
Yeah, certainly, hopefully it was a great day out there for your mothers there. Temperatures across the area right now, they're pretty comfortable. Take a look in El Paso. We're at 73 degrees, almost room temperature for you there. Now, Las Cruces, a little bit chilly for you at 65 degrees. Juarez at 70, Deming in the 60s, Alamogordo in the 50s. High temperatures today. You really couldn't ask for better springtime weather. Normally our highs in the mid-80s. Take a look across the area. We didn't even crack 80 degree once. Got close to it at the KFOX 14 studios, West El Paso, as well as Rudolph Cars in West El Paso. Now, heading into your Monday to start off that next work week, it's going to be a little bit warmer across the area, probably cracking the 80s across the board here. But getting into Tuesday and Wednesday, that's when we start to really see those rain chances and thunderstorm chances on the rise. I'll let you know which day we could see the best chance for some storms across the area. Plus, Futurecast getting pretty excited with how much rain we could see. I'll let you see the latest models just ahead.
The Rio Grande will soon start flowing through southern New Mexico once again. Beginning tomorrow, the Elephant Butte Reservoir will start releasing water into the river. The Caballo Reservoir will be open on May 26th. Now, this will mark the beginning of the irrigation season. This water will be used to irrigate lands in the Elephant Butte Irrigation District along West Texas and also in Mexico. Living happy and healthy. These services the New Mexico governor is promoting among older Americans and the reasoning behind them.
And be a mama over the phone is very difficult.
She's a mother who is not always around. That's keeping her away and the reason this Mother's Day was so special for her. Giving low-income students a fighting chance, the new program that's coming to El Paso to help end the cycle of poverty in the community.